Hello, human collective. Welcome to the Upside to Grief. My name is Story and I am your host.
And my name is Erica, and I am your co-host.
Welcome to Chapter 3.
Yeah.
For those of you who have been following along with us, one, thank you. And two, we know that Sherry is not here with us like we said she would be.
In the previous.
In the last one, we said she was going to be here. She's still coming. We had some technical difficulties and we had to rearrange the schedule. So we had to pivot.
Yeah. Pivot, adapt. That's what we do.
Yes. I always joke at work and say that pivot's my middle name.
I like that.
Yeah, because literally that's what I do there. So we're pivoting. I want to tell you what chapter she's coming in, but who knows what's gonna happen. But soon, she's gonna be here soon.
Yeah, and we're still very, very excited for her to be on, and it's definitely in the works. We have a date planned and everything, but life happens.
Life happens, yes.
Yeah. So what are we gonna be doing today instead?
Today we're gonna do our first chapter with the two of us. So every three chapters, but really every 6 weeks because everybody has a segment.
Yeah.
So every 6 weeks, you're going to get just us talking about all things grief.
Yeah.
And everything else. So we definitely, in these chapters, feel free to comment underneath. If there are certain topics that you are curious about or that you would like us to talk about. I mean, we're not professionals. We didn't go to school for this or anything like that, but we're here to talk about it with you guys. So we would love your feedback and your input so that we can all collaborate and have a conversation about it.
Yeah, especially if you follow us on our personal social medias, because that's kind of how we introduced ourselves with our first little reel, is that we are very open about our grief journeys and we post a lot about it anyway. So if there's ever been something that kind of stood out to you, please bring it up because we will absolutely have a more in-depth conversation about it because I'm sure we have already.
Yeah, exactly.
So you, when we were planning on this, you texted me and said that you wanted to talk about something. And
oh, wait. Can we 1 second?
Yeah.
Cups.
Yes, cups. Okay, you go.
Okay. We wanted to give a shout out to my OG bestie back home in Minnesota. The other day, I was on the phone with her, and I was just calling her to call her, and I had her on FaceTime, and I walked up to my doorstep, and I was looking at the packages, and I was like, wait, why is there a package from you at my door? And she's like, oh, I thought that's why you were calling me. And I was like, no, I was just calling you to call you. And she's like, oh, this is exciting. And so I opened the package up while she was on the phone with me. And for those of you who are not watching this and who are just listening, we will explain. But for those of you who are viewing, she sent us these cups with our logo on it and a fantastic card. And it's funny because the first thing I saw was the card, and it just had a big number 1 on it. And in my head, I was like, 1 what? What is this? And then I opened it, and it's from her and her family, and it said, congratulations on your first podcast. You guys are both beautiful. Keep with the flow. And yeah, so thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you so much, Melissa. I don't even know you, but I've heard about you from Story, and she called me and showed me these, and I almost my tears were welling up in my eyes because I was like, holy shit, that's so thoughtful and meaningful.
They were. You stepped out of the gym and you were like, I'm getting emotional right now. And I was like, that's okay.
It was really, really cool. Yeah, it feels like a milestone. You sent these to us because of our milestone with the Upside to Grief. And this feels like a milestone.
Sorry for those who are listening.
Accidentally with the cup.
And I was so caught off guard too. I don't know. I just wasn't. I wasn't expecting it at all, and it's super thoughtful. And I just love you so much. Thank you so much for supporting us and supporting me literally through my whole life with everything. I goes,
Hmm.
so Melissa and I have been best friends since she was 16 and I was 18.
Wow.
So we've
I
seen a
love that.
lot of different versions of each other
Yeah.
on both ends. I think we're getting to the point where it's half of our life. Let's see, I'm 33. So I was 18. Close. We're getting close.
Close.
But we'll surpass that for sure. So yeah, so we've seen many of different versions of each other, and both ways, like we've just, yeah, it's beautiful. So thank you. I
Yeah.
love you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely wanted to give a little shout out there.
Yeah. So for those of you who aren't watching, yes, they're like giant
Oh, yeah.
black cups, and then
Tumblers.
tumblers. Yes, and they have our logo in silver. So the cup's black and the logo is silver. Um, it's very aesthetic.
Yeah, it's engraved on there, and it's just, yeah, it's us. It's the logo.
Yeah, I love it so much. It matches our dark aesthetic vibe.
Which we have everywhere besides here.
Right. The background does not match our personality, but maybe like
Yeah, new background.
new background. Oh, yes, for those of you who are watching. This is our new set, too.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, I think it's cool to share, right? Like, we said Sherry was coming and she's not. And then, like, we have a new background and this. And, you know, we're not like professional podcasters or anything like that. I did go to school for audio engineering, so that does play a part. Otherwise, this would, I don't know if we would be this far yet. But this is all a learning process, and we're not trying to act like we know all of this because we don't. And I like sharing that with you guys because I think it's cool.
Yeah, I definitely think it's cool.
Yeah.
Humanizing.
Humanizing. We're all human. So, okay. That was it. Sorry. My bad.
Well, okay. So to jump back into what we're making this chapter about is Story texted me what she wanted to talk about, and I want her to share that first so that we can kind of open up that conversation.
Okay. I
Yeah.
had two thoughts.
Okay.
Should we just do one at a time?
Yeah. Well, what are both?
Both of them. So the first one was that love is not the opposite of grief.
Mm-hmm.
Love that one.
Mm.
Love that one. I could go on forever about that. And the second one was death as a doorway.
Okay. Yeah. Which one do you want to start with?
I don't know. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, I guess so. I was thinking about the death as a doorway one a lot, because that's what I think it is. I don't think that death is an end, and I know that this is a lot about grief, but with a lot of our commonalities with grief, it's usually about the death or the loss of a person. It doesn't have to be, but I feel like a lot of the times we feel like death is such a finite thing. And part of my process has been unlearning that death is not the end. And I know that one unhelpful platitude that I've heard is death is part of life. And when you put it that way and when you hear it on repeat so much, I feel like it loses the beauty of that statement. Like when people say that to me, it kind of feels like the, get up and move on kind of phrase. Like death is part of life. Get over it kind of feel. Like that's what it feels like to me when people say that. But part of death being a doorway, I like that in general, like that image, is that death is part of life, but like our whole life and existence is very cyclical. It mimics it in the weather, our seasons, so many other things, moon cycles. Like it's all just cyclical. Death, life, rebirth. And when you think of things in like a beautiful like cosmic circle, there
Mm-hmm.
is no end to a circle. Like it just keeps on going. So in that way, like death is part of life.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot in between there too. So it took me a really long time to kind of like get to that point where I thought that that phrase didn't bug me so much.
Yeah.
And I still can't really articulate like the depth of it and how much it means to me,
Mm-hmm.
because it's still, when I say it out loud, like death is a part of life, it still sounds like,
Yeah.
okay, now get over it.
Yeah.
End of conversation.
Yeah. I very much like that you just like went through and explained like how that all works. I mean that is what the Wheel of Fortune. That is what that card means. Like literally, that's what it is. You're saying that. I was like, oh,
She has that tattooed on her hand.
I do.
Yeah,
I
the Wheel
do.
of Fortune.
Yeah. So.
And I have a whole bunch of other like thoughts about that, because I know part of what you said was grief is a doorway to love.
No.
No?
No.
Maybe I'm combining the two of the things that you said then. Because
Oh no! I think I know what you're talking about. Um,
if I had my phone, I could like look at it.
yes, you're talking. Yeah, you're talking about when we had posted with Sherry that video. Like,
No, your text
not
message
that?
to me.
Oh, a text message.
I
Okay, I
wish I
feel
could
like that
read it
was
right
kind
now.
of like the vibe I was going for with that. I feel like I slightly. I didn't say like grief as a. I don't think I said a grief as a doorway to love, but I was talking about how through grief, like when you experience grief, that you love comes after. Love comes after
Yeah.
grief. I'm not saying that it doesn't come before. I'm not saying that it can't be intertwined, but I'm just saying that if you are fortunate enough to open yourself up to your grief and those experiences, that there's a lot of love essentially on the other side of that door, which makes sense why you say it like that.
Yeah.
Because you put it like that, like it. Yes.
Okay.
In the short story long. Yes.
Which also, interestingly enough, ties back to one of our core intentions is language. Because one of the things that you said that you wanted to bring up that you're not fond of is that quote you just said. The
What did I just say?
grief is love
Oh.
with no place to go or some shit
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. That one, and then I hate when people are like, well, because you're grieving so hard, it just means that you loved so deeply.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
That's not what that means.
Yeah.
And like also too, like my whole relationship with my husband wasn't love. Like was there unconditional love? Yes. Did it take us a long time to get there? Yes. But like it wasn't just like, oh,
Rainbows and
rainbow love. We loved so deeply, and now she's grieving so difficultly. Like
yeah.
it just really puts a like a lid, not a lid, and like puts a not good filter on it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say?
Yeah. And also, I just want to express again, I feel like it's good to kind of say this every time we talk about like the unhelpful platitudes, is that these can be comforting in some contexts, and sometimes people do appreciate these things. But if you are ever hearing these things and you get like that weird icky feeling inside, or it kind of pushes you away internally and you're not sure why, that's what I think that we're trying to bring to light a little bit more.
That, and then also like we're not saying these things like to
like
be
don't
like
say them.
Don't say them, or you're a bad person because you said that, or like you're doing the wrong thing. That's not the intention behind this. The intention, I mean, most of the time, you know, like when we had shared about the platitudes previously, prior to like the podcast airing, if you go on to the social medias on Instagram and Facebook, there's different videos leading up to the podcast airing, and we do like a little thing about unhelpful platitudes, and then we follow that up with like what to say instead. And a lot of people were like, I've said all of those things, and I'm also guilty of saying unhelpful
every single
platitudes. Every single one, right? But it's because nobody talks about it and nobody brings it up because one, right, if you don't know how to talk about grief and somebody's sharing about something and then you say an unhelpful platitude, like your first instinct at that point is not to like
Comfort.
I don't know. It's yeah, it's like I
It's
don't know.
usually like a reaction instead of like actually thinking and sitting with like, how can I best support this person first? It's
Hmm.
like I need to say something really fast so that the awkwardness goes away.
Yeah, and I'm still learning how to do that today,
Yeah.
like
Me
the
too.
there's no best response,
Mm-hmm.
and so like today somebody had shared with me, like a stranger had shared with me today that somebody had passed unexpectedly. And my response was, that's gut-wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
And I just nodded and like shook my head and he was like, yeah, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think that was a bad thing for me to say, right? Like, but do I wish I said something different? Absolutely, because I like the verbiage, you know what I mean? I wish I would have said something to follow up with that, but I didn't. And it was a really like brief interaction. There was a lot of stuff going on, so it wasn't like in that moment we could actually have that conversation. So I think it was fine, but even I'm like even people who are like immersed in grief and talking about it all the time, like I'm still learning every single day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's a really good example too.
Mhm.
And even if something that you feel is right, or if somebody has similar circumstances to you, like
Mhm.
maybe a similar loss, their loss is still different than yours.
Mhm.
Like I could be talking to someone who also lost their dad to cancer, and maybe there's like a few other similarities. And what I feel like would comfort me may be like the worst thing to them.
Mhm.
So, like, you're still going to mess up. And I think the important thing is trying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
But we just like to talk about it.
yeah,
We
just
want to
talking
open
about it.
up the conversation because people just don't.
Yeah. So, to circle back around, it's not like we're
Sorry,
saying,
we're like,
don't do this, don't do this. We're actually doing kind of the opposite of it, just having the discussions around it. So if you do know the person that you're talking to, maybe you can pivot.
You can pivot.
Pivot.
Yes.
Your middle name. Adapt. So, what do you not like about that platitude? Like for me, it's oh my God, how does it go? Grief is love with nowhere to go. That's the one that I'm not fond of because I I just don't think that that's true for me. I just don't think that that's true for me. I don't think, yeah.
I don't think that's true for me either. Grief, like, wait, what is it? Like grief, love is. Say it again.
Grief is love with nowhere to go.
Grief is love with nowhere to go. But I feel like in your grief, then love comes out of it and it goes places for me. That's a me thing, right?
Yes.
This podcast, this podcast is a perfect example of like, this is not grief with, I can't say it right. I'm tired.
And there's a lot of like little variations that I've seen
Okay, yeah.
online of that.
Hmm.
So,
But like, this is a perfect example of like, it's going somewhere.
mhm.
I hope.
Yeah. No. It's definitely moving.
We're moving for sure, for sure. But this is an example of like why that wouldn't be true for me.
Yeah. I feel like it could just be phrased a lot differently, or maybe just like take that idea away totally, because I think part of it for me too is I have used my grief to all parts of it, not just the love part, but the anger, the rage,
Mm-hmm.
the just all of the bad parts of grief. I don't even want
Why
to
do they
say,
have to be bad?
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, I don't even think they're bad because the point, like, literally the point that I'm trying to make is that all of the things that I have felt in my grief have been tools
Mm-hmm.
to do something. Like, it's not a stopping point. It's It's a doorway.
Mm-hmm.
And
And it's learning, and
yeah.
it's feeling. I mean, I feel like those feelings they're intensified. I don't know, or you feel them differently. I feel like than how you have experienced in your life before, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Like
Yeah.
you felt anger
Mm-hmm.
before you lived with grief.
Mm-hmm.
You felt anger,
Yes.
and then when you experienced anger within grief, it felt very different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
very much so.
yeah, it's like
Or not regular emotions, but our shared emotions through the lens of grief.
mm-hmm,
Yeah, it makes it totally different.
mm-hmm, way different. Yeah, and I feel like I could see like that platitude it's kind of sad, right? It's kind of like it's a sad platitude,
Mm-hmm.
and I could see how that could be helpful at certain times. Like I remember it was the 1 month of my husband passing, and I was stuck in residential treatment, and I didn't go to group, and I was in my room, and I was listening to Lana Del Rey, crying, and one of the counselors came up and was like, "Story, it's not going to help if you sit in your room listening to sad music." And I was like, "I want to listen to sad music right now. This is what I need."
Yeah.
So I could see if I'm looking at it from that perspective of maybe sometimes we need the sad platitudes. I could see it from that point of view too.
Yeah. And for me, I think of so I work my day job is working with an end of life company for animals, specifically dogs and cats. And there's something that's in that kind of in that group of people where that's a platitude that's super helpful for the loss of pets. Like grief is love with nowhere to go. Because like you think about like loving your pet so much
Yeah.
and giving that affection physically a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've seen it be very helpful in that realm.
Yeah.
I've even had like people say it to me on the phone, like, it's just my grief with nowhere to go. It's
Yeah.
all love. The only reason that I'm grieving so hard is because I loved so hard, which feels a lot better for our animals,
Yeah.
I think.
I think it does too. And I also think too, people get, or from what I've experienced, I had somebody at one of my jobs ask about do you guys talk about losing your pet? And she's like, because I've lost there's been friends from high school that I found out about a long time ago. But she was like, for me, the hardest loss I've gone through so far is my cat, and that was a couple of years ago, and that shit still tears me up. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, that's valid,
Yeah.
and so maybe kind of those platitudes work out, because I don't know, they seem gentle and sad and not so, I don't know. I feel like sometimes people don't feel like they can grieve the loss of their pet, 'cause people are going to be like,
It was a pet.
are you serious right
Yeah.
now? Which I don't think is fair,
No.
something that I don't know if I've shared this. And if I have, I'm sorry. Um, but something that my mom told me, because I was at a self-help meeting, and I didn't share about my husband, because right before I was going to share about my husband, somebody else shared about losing their child. And I heard them share about losing their child, and in my head I was like, yeah, what? Why am I upset? Like, that's horrific, you know? And so I didn't share, and I felt weird about it. And so I shared this with my mom, and my mom was like, we don't compare grief.
Mm-hmm.
It's all there. And she said, and here's the thing. She's like, you should have. She's like, it's fine that you didn't share. Like, that's how you felt. That's fine. But she's like, in the future, like, you should, because not everybody that was in that room is going to, like, her sharing that. It's not going to resonate with everybody in that room. She's like, you could have shared, and you could have, like, there could have been somebody in that room that then felt connected to you because of what you shared, but not necessarily what they shared. And it's not comparing, it's just we all experience life differently. We all experience grief differently. We all grieve pets. I've lost pets. I've lost so many people. I feel like my life is surrounded by death my whole entire life. I'm not sure why, but that's the path I'm on. I got my cat tattooed on me, and I love her and I miss her.
I didn't know that that was your cat.
Yeah, little mama.
Wow.
She was my baby.
What even is all this? I keep on thinking that
So-
it's an astronaut with a cat inside.
But you know, it's so funny because I always wanted an astronaut cat tattooed. It's like it's on my list of things to do. Okay, so the tattoo.
Oh, it's a backpack.
Yes, there's a cat. Okay, on my arm, there's a cat in a backpack. My backpack. It's me.
The kind of backpacks that are built to hold animals,
Yeah.
like where you can see through them and stuff. It's kind of like a globe.
And I'm holding up what is supposed to be a map. The tattoo's not finished yet. So there will be a map of the world on there, and then I think it'll be a little more
I see it.
understanding what's happening there. It's a work in progress. But funny is that she hated that backpack. She hated it. I had it. She hated it. She hated leashes. She hated all of it. But she was like a dog. So she would go out with me, like I would roller skate, and she would run next to me for miles. It was the most crazy, cool thing I've ever experienced in my life. Like, she reminds me of, I have a little, these lights are very bright, so you can't see it. But over there on that shelf, there's a tiny little, the little raptors, the dinosaurs. And I went to a grief support group like 6 weeks after my husband passed away, way too soon. I don't know what I was doing there. I was like, whoa. But they passed out this little container of dinosaurs, and they were like, pick a dinosaur that resonates with you. I was like, I know. What a random thing, too, right? I don't know. It was in a church, too. Very random. I don't know what was happening in my life. But I was there at church, and I picked the raptor because the little raptor reminds me of her because she just had so much fire. Like, I was always like, she's my little dinosaur.
Yeah.
And I grieved her. I did. It was sad. I still get sad sometimes. I have pictures of her on my wall. She's right there.
Yeah.
You know? And it's important. Like, now am I saying that I grieved the loss of my cat more than my husband? No, I didn't. But I grieved them both differently, and I still miss my cat. It doesn't stop me from functioning.
Yeah.
Sometimes my grief with my husband will stop me from it. He doesn't stop me from functioning anymore. He's just like, hey, bitch, sit down, take a breath. You're going to go to the ocean today, or like, you're going to call in sick today. That's how I take it now. It's like, he's telling me to sit
down
the fuck down.
Hi. Spend some time with me.
Yep, that's what happens now.
I heard it said one time that not all losses are equal, but all grief is equal. And I remember thinking about that for a while because I feel like there was like more of an explanation behind it. And I kind of liked it because of that kind of thing. Like some losses that we experience might seem insignificant to some people. Like somebody who doesn't give a shit about losing a pet because maybe they've never had it happen to them, or going through a breakup or losing a job, like those are all losses that we
Yeah.
experience grief about.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really compare losing a job with losing your husband, you know? They're not on the same realm, but the grief around them, like the experience afterwards, especially like if we go through stages of grief with either
Mm-hmm.
of them, those I feel like should both be honored in a similar way. I feel like the opposite could also be true, but it just made me think.
Yeah, no, and I like that. I like that you know what I mean, you're open to thinking. I think that's how we should be. And I like that. It made me think. I guess my only thing I'm going to play devil's advocate here
Always.
with that
We love
is
that.
that not all this is weird to say. Not all grief is forever.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
that would make that statement not true, right? I guess it depends on how you look at it, right?
Yeah, I guess it depends on how you look at it. For example, grief with
Story in Erica. No, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, you guys. That was uncalled for.
grief. Well, if all grief doesn't last forever, what is the closing point?
If all grief doesn't last forever, what is the closing point?
What stops it from going on? Acceptance?
All grief?
No, just the ones that you're thinking of that might not be forever.
The grief that doesn't last forever, what stops it?
Mm-hmm.
You move on. Right? Like if you, for a job, at some point, you'll get a new job and that like won't seem forever. Like it won't, you won't feel the pain of losing that job anymore. Or even like, right, a breakup. Like I remember when I was like 18, my first like real big breakup. Oh my God, I was so upset. I remember like hysterically crying like on the stairs in my house, like for like 2 fucking months, bro. And I was upset about it. I remember, God, I love my mom so much. She's been through so much with me. I remember
What a saint.
what a saint.
Mama Joe, the saint. Saint Mama Joe.
That's a new one. It fits though. It definitely fits. Like I just remember calling her and being like, I don't want to be sad anymore, you know? But like I don't grieve the loss of that ex-boyfriend anymore. I don't.
What I'm thinking of is tracing back to the grief as a doorway thing, because if I think about my comparable situation, like with the ex that, dude, I didn't eat for months. I lost so much weight.
That was always the good thing about breaking up, right? You're like, 'cause after you go through a breakup, then you're like, I mean, you end up all skinny.
Oh, I was not happy about it.
Oh, okay.
No, not for me. No, not for me. I don't have.
Too skinny.
Yeah, way too skinny. Like, it was scary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I was heartbroken, devastated.
Mm.
And looking back, I can imagine myself as that person and still feeling that grief. But what I don't think it's necessarily that like that grief ever closed. I feel like this was a perfect example of grief transforming and opening up a doorway, because what it brought was opportunity to never be in something like that again, and never want to feel that way again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I definitely don't have any solid opinions on it, but I do think that grief I mean, it's part of my spiritual beliefs where like I think that all time is happening now anyway, so I don't think that grief just ends or stops at all. I think that it always exists somewhere. And I think a lot of people think that the acceptance stage of grief means that, you come to this point where you just realize, okay, I need to move on and put this behind me. But in my experience, what acceptance means is building your reality
Mm-hmm.
around your grief.
Mm-hmm.
Because otherwise it still is always there. Especially with the big ones that like you're holding because you want to hold.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't believe in the acceptance stage at all.
I have a different perspective on it because I respect the research and the science behind it. A woman came up with the 5 stages of grief.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually pretty cool, and like revolutionary for its time. But
I guess right, because it cycles and cycles and cycles. I guess in my head, I just think of like how we talked about like the thing that happened with breath work, and I was like, now it's a whole new reality, right? So I guess I feel like, I guess the acceptance stage is not the end of it.
Yeah, and I think
It
a lot
just
of people
starts
think
over.
it is though. I don't even think it starts over. I think it means that we have to constantly learn, like in your experience, like what this acceptance looks like now, what this acceptance looks like
Mm-hmm.
now. But I still think that it's still linked to something in time. So that's why I don't think that grief ever like fully goes away. Looking back for that relationship that I was just mentioning,
Mm-hmm.
I still grieve the way everything went. I grieve that version of myself who got so low.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also, it's one of those things where like I'm just so glad that it happened because it opened doorways to something else and made me who I am today. That whole thing. Like, I'm so glad that awful thing happened because now I am the way that I am.
Mm-hmm. Ariana Grande. Thank you. Next.
Oh, I was like, wait, I'm not familiar.
Yeah, and I think that
Thank
kind
you,
of
next.
real talk though, she was onto something.
Yeah.
I think that kind of perfectly like ties in to the other topic of love not being the opposite of grief.
Grief is not the opposite of love.
That.
Or whatever.
Love is not the opposite of grief. Grief is not the opposite of love.
Whatever the fuck the phrase goes.
Yeah.
However the fuck.
It's not that. And you sharing that like reminds me of that because I think something that stands out like real heavy for me and why I believe that is that I was in a not great relationship, like abusive, toxic, drug use, stuff like that. This is not my husband. This is somebody else, but and I felt love for that person, but it was a very toxic relationship. There was a lot that went into that, and he died, and I fucking grieved the shit out of that relationship. Like, that was difficult. This was prior to me losing my husband, and I thought it was like the worst thing in the fucking world that I had ever been through. Like, I had so much anxiety, like crawling through my skin, all of that. But it wasn't that relationship wasn't a good thing for my life. It wasn't like, I don't like, that's why love's not the opposite of grief because I grieved somebody that was not good to me.
Yeah.
You know, it was the high highs and the low lows and all of that. And I very much grieved that loss. But that very much was not a loving relationship whatsoever. So I just like cannot get on board with that saying.
Yeah.
And, you know, I hear from other people too that it's like, right, there's people that don't get along with their siblings or their parents or something like that, or they're estranged their whole life, or, there's situations like that. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, this person that's an immediate family member that you never got the relationship that you wanted to have with, now they're dead. Now you're grieving, and it's really confusing, and like, why do I feel this way? And all of, like, I don't know. I haven't, like, fully had that experience in my life. I haven't, I just, this is just like from what I've heard of others, but like that's also a perfect example of like love's not the opposite of grief, It's
Yeah,
there's just so much to it.
that is a really good example too. And there's one of my favorite books that really helped me was The Wild Edge of Sorrow, and it talks about the doorways to grief. And one of those is the sorrows that we feel for things that we never had.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that is exactly what that is. Because you're not grieving a love that you lost, like with somebody who loved you and poured love into you when they were here physically. It was more like you're grieving for what you never had, or that, okay, like with that example, like, okay, that was my mother or father or, close relation. I don't know what I'm feeling right now,
Mhm.
but it's not love. Like if they were
It's not
estranged
love.
or never knew them, even like, let's say you were adopted and you found out that your biological parent had passed, like you're probably, depending on the circumstance, like I feel like there's probably somebody out there who would grieve,
Mhm.
with no experience of love in that relationship.
Mhm. I
So,
have a friend who is adopted, who's never met her biological mother, and we've had conversations about that where she's like, "How do you grieve somebody you've never fucking met?"
you do get to, because what that quote reminds me of in my personal story is I was in a car accident last year, and it was a pretty bad one. The person who hit us passed away. And I had to go to therapy for a few months because I had those confused feelings. Like I had so much grief in my body. Like I knew what it was because of all the work that I've done around somatics and just like grief in general. So I knew that I was like having all these like grief feelings everywhere and like
Mhm.
affecting my daily life. And but part of me thought like, do I even like, is this actually grief? Like, do I get to grieve this person I never knew? The short answer was yes, I do get to grieve them.
Mhm.
And it's not even like I have to be like, oh, I loved this person that I've never met, because I don't even know what you fucking say. But like what it came down to is like I still honored that this person's life was lost,
Mhm.
and I grieved the loss of a fellow human.
Yep.
And there was no love behind that. There was hoping that that their family could find peace, that things like that, but there wasn't necessarily like love in the way that we would think about it.
Mhm.
So that's a huge one for me, and why I don't agree with that phrase in all situations. Like,
Mhm.
grief is the opposite of love. How is it in that situation?
Boo.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But as you can see, it was definitely a doorway for me to realize that I get to grieve this, and it's a different form of grief.
Mhm.
So it was a really enlightening experience, and it was definitely, I love those doorway moments, and I really like death is a doorway or grief is a doorway,
Mhm.
because when you go, that other little phrase, like when one door opens or when one door closes
Another
another one
door
opens,
opens. Yeah.
it makes me kind of think of that, because like if you literally think of like grief as a doorway and you're walking through it, like transformation happens. You're in another reality, you're in another
Mhm.
state of being, whatever that is. And it definitely got me there with mourning this person, and grieving for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when that happened.
It's very confusing.
Mm-hmm.
I had a really great therapist too. It was one of those things where I definitely needed the professional help. Like processing with friends just wasn't cutting it.
Yeah.
I needed professional. I needed professional assistance.
Which also, on that note, I went to therapy for a year and a half straight after my husband passed away, every single week. Every single week. So if you're listening to this and somebody has passed and you've never explored that realm, like, I'm not a professional, but I feel like most people find it helpful if you can find somebody that it works for you. And if you go to somebody and it doesn't mesh, try somebody else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's different. You're not going to mesh with everybody. But obviously when you're ready, because it's good to like have your friends to chat with and family to chat with, but it's also good to just have somebody that doesn't know you. There's no bias from any direction. They have no idea about anything in your life or any people. There's none of that there. It's just, an outside perspective, and, there's tools, and, I just think good things can come out of it. So I feel like if you feel nervous about it, like, just try it.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that?
I feel like, yeah. I mean, I
don't want to push my things on other people.
Talk therapy definitely has its like proven benefits with so many facets of our lives. So talk therapy is totally beneficial, and it's just really important to if you feel any kind of way about the grief or the state of being that you're in, whether it's mental or physical or any like, the aftermath of grief, and you're just not getting what you need. Like maybe, like you were saying, your friends are great, but it's not giving you what you need. You don't feel a relief afterwards, or
you feel that like you're the downer and like you're repeating yourself. Like, I feel like a lot of people get that isolating feeling because like you're always, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
talking
you
about
get in that funk, but it's always like so sad and depressing, and you haven't really explored the corner. You're not anywhere near close to the corner of like sharing happy memories and like being able to smile and talk about it. 'Cause it takes quite a while to get there.
Yeah. Talk therapy all the way.
Talk therapy all the way. Talk it out. I mean, there's a lot of other amazing things that help, but I think that that's a good start before you start trying to jump into other things, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely just important to find out like what works for you and keep trying to find something that works for you. Talk therapy is, professional help in general, I definitely advocate for it, because even if you are a professional in those fields, you still can't help yourself. Like,
therapists need therapists.
Yeah, therapists need therapists thing. For sure. Yep. So, yeah, it's definitely worth mentioning, and I think it's okay to advocate for that, for sure. It's obviously helped both of us.
Yeah. I imagine some people watching are like, are seeking help-ish.
Yeah. And it's not like those things were immediate, like you go to one session and you're like, oh, I am cured. I have all the solutions now. Like, no, this is a real person that you have to develop a relationship with. If you, like you said, if you don't vibe, find the next person who you sort of vibe with, or that you can at least just like dump on, see how they respond.
Dump on.
Fuck. I was going to say another word that doesn't even sound great either, but just find something that feels good for a moment. Just give yourself a chance.
Can I share about something with my old therapist? I was so sad when I had to leave her. It was bittersweet. But we got to a point, and she was like, I think
you're ready to fly.
I think we can stop having sessions. And I was
You're like, what? Why?
She's like, that's the point of therapy, is that you stop coming at some point.
Yeah.
It's like, all right. And I was like, all right. Plus, there's like the 2-year rule. We can't be friends because I was your client. I was like, we got to start that clock.
Yeah, start it now so we can hang out later.
But when I started going to her, it was a week after my husband passed away. And so not on the very first session, but the second session that I had, or maybe it was 2 weeks. It was the second session that I had with her was the 1 month. And so I had, like I had shared previously, I hadn't went to group. I was crying and listening to sad music and whatever. And I was stuck in that facility. And so I wanted to go to the ocean. And they were like, I wasn't allowed to walk to the ocean at that point. And so I was like, can you have like a therapist walk me? And I think we talked about the walk with my therapist and all that, right? And so I had set up my own therapy outside of that place on that day. And so I was just waiting to get the fuck out of there because they would not take me to the ocean. And so, like, how we've talked about, like, the ocean is like that thing. I don't know if I've shared, did I talk about the waves? Like, I don't know if I have. Okay, but so when I was like heavy in my grief fog, okay, so we're at 1 month. What I wanted was when you get caught in a wave, when you're in the ocean and you get caught in a wave and you spin in the wave, like they portrayed in movies, and it gets like you can hear
Knocking you down and
like the buzzing noise, and it shows the person like spinning in the wave, and it goes in slow motion. That's what I wanted, because I feel like it would bring me, I wasn't going to think about anything else
but
besides
being knocked around by a
being
wave.
in that fucking wave. And that's like literally what I craved. It's insane to think about. But that's what I wanted. And so I got to my therapy appointment and I was like 45 minutes early. So I walked down to Swami's Beach in Encinitas, California. And I just stripped down in my bra and underwear. And I got in the fucking ocean, and I literally just
let a wave rock you.
Yup, I fucking walked straight into that shit and just tumbled, and that's what I needed. And so
controlled tumble.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, that's what it was. And so I got out, and I was soaking wet, so I just throw my clothes back on. It's all, super wet, and I walked into my therapy session. It's like the second time I've seen her. She's just like, how you doing today? Like, well, yeah. So I don't know. It's funny. She was a great therapist though, and I don't know. You just go with it. Go with the waves.
Go with the waves.
Go with the waves.
I love that. I love my ocean and wave analogies with grief. That one's just amazing. Sometimes you just gotta let it rock you.
Sometimes you just gotta let it rock you, man. Fuck.
Well, I think that was a really fucking cool way to talk about both of those things that you texted about. Not liking grief is the opposite of love, and how grief is a doorway, because we just talked about quite a few beautiful things amongst the chaos and the lows and the waves.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. I can't wait to do more with me and you. That'll be really fun.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah.
That's what I was like, before we recorded this, I was like, I'm really excited for this one. We actually, before we started recording today, both of us were really tired, and like low-key Erica's coming off of being sick. And so we were like, we're not sure how this is going to go. Do we have the energy to talk about grief? And then she gets here, and we start just like going at it, and she's like, wait, whoa. I gotta stop what I'm saying. We need to record. And I was like, God damn it. Like, it literally just, this is just a terminology I use, but it just comes out like word vomit all the time.
Yeah. And it's actually kind of really exciting to get together with you, because I'm like, okay, somebody who is going to be receptive and feed off of what I'm saying and also build up what we're talking about. So that's, it always feels really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, because I just know that when I talk to you, it's going to be some kind of enlightened conversation about like our experiences
Hmm.
and not somebody pitying me or being like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, we're always like thinking about it differently, or like, and we're always laughing,
Yeah.
you know?
I want to, this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but
Okay.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who is like watching,
Yes.
listening, and following along because like I see it reflected in people. Like, for example, Jim hasn't, I don't think he's like listened to full chapters yet, but he's been following along on the reels. And we were just like laying in bed today before I came over.
Mhm.
And I don't even remember how it got brought up, but he was just like, me and your dad would have had a really good time together. We would have been doing this and this and this. And he was like describing like all of these things that, in one vein, that could be very depressing because it's never going to fucking happen in this lifetime.
Mhm.
But it was just a really beautiful thing to hear him talk about my dad. And because he only knew him for a few months, and a few months while he was okay, and then a few months as he got sick.
Mhm.
So he didn't get to experience him in my dad's fullness of him. But I know that where Jim was coming from was from like, I hear you talk about your dad so much, I'm listening, and this is what I know that your dad would have done with me, and this is what we would be doing together.
I
Because
love
yeah,
that.
like he listened. And I've heard similar things from other people about both of us, and that means everything. I feel like that's like the perfect way to support somebody. It's just be
Mhm.
like, I wonder what Ken would be doing right now.
Yeah. Oh, there's something that I want to say to this, but I don't think I can say it yet because it's like something that's happening in the future. But a very similar situation ended up happening from the next podcast
Mm,
that is already recorded.
okay.
So
Cool.
we're recording chapter 3 after we recorded chapter 4,
Yes.
because we're
Because of the pivot.
because of the pivot. So I know the future. We'll just go with that.
Yeah.
I know the future, and something very similar happened like 2 days after that, um, where I then we're talking with Roseanne in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, 2 weeks,
Yes.
and I sent her. There, I was at the beach, and there was a bird next to me. And you guys will hear the story soon, but I was just like, "What's up, Roseanne's dad?" When I sent her a picture, and then I took a picture with the bird and sent it to her, and so it's just goofy.
I love that so much. Yes, exactly those kind of moments. Like, I don't even need to know the full story to know, yes, hug.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we want to have happen between like different people and everybody. Like we want grief will be uncomfortable forever, but like we want to make it as comfortable as possible. That's not the right way to put it.
I get what you mean, though.
But you get what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. I understand.
I'm picking up what you're throwing down. Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay, well, I think that's a good way to close it out, yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. We,
Next week.
yeah.
Next week, we're going to do one of our segments
Yes.
that we haven't done yet. We're going to do
The what ifs.
the
The
what
what
ifs.
ifs.
The
Ugh.
what ifs. Ugh.
Yeah. The what ifs that are happy, the what ifs that are gut wrenching, as your adjective that you used.
Gut wrenching.
Yeah. And then
Crawl out of your skin.
and after that, we're going to be, well, Story's going to be sitting down with Roseanne and we're going to hear her story, her journey.
After that, yes.
After that in 2 weeks.
Yep.
So thank you guys so much for listening, watching, please.
Supporting, sharing.
Yeah.
So much. so much. Thank you guys so much.
Truly.
Like, none of this would be possible without you guys. So, thank you. And we will see you next week.
We will see you next week. Love you guys.
Love you.
Bye.